Hi boys and girls, today we're going to go over author's purpose and we're going to be using a nonfiction book. The title of this book is What Does Sunlight Do? And it's by Jennifer Boothroyd. I will read it first to you and then we will go over the information in the book to see what the author's purpose was for writing this book. What Does Sunlight Do? By Jennifer Boothroyd. Sunlight. Sunlight comes from the sun. The sun is a star. We need light to see. The sun gives us light. Sunlight brightens the sky. The sun even makes light on cloudy days. The sun peeks through these trees. The sun rises early in the morning. Sunlight is strong in early afternoon. The sun climbs higher later in the day. The sun has started to set. The sun sets in the evening. The moon gives a little light. It reflects the sun's light. By nighttime, it is dark. Sunlight makes us warm. Sunlight gives us heat. This ground is hot and dry. It heats the ground. This lizard gets heat from the sun. Sunlight warms the animals. It heats water. Sunlight is stronger in summer. There is less sunlight in winter. Using sunlight. Clothes dry in the sunlight. Sunlight has many uses. Plants need sunlight to grow. Vitamin D makes our bones strong. Our bodies need sunlight to make vitamin D. These panels catch sunlight. We make sunlight into electricity. Why do you like sunlight? Alright, so now that we've read the book, we're going to go over some of the information that the author tells us inside the book to give us more of an idea of what sunlight actually does, okay? So first off, at the beginning of the book, she tells us that sunlight does come from the sun, and she does mention the fact that the sun is a star. Next, she tells us that we need sunlight to see things that are around us, and that the sun is that source that gives us the light. She tells us that the sun rises early in the morning and around mid-afternoon or midday. She tells us that that's when the sunlight is so much stronger than in the morning or probably at night, okay? Then she goes ahead and tells us that the sun does set in the evening, so we start to see less light. So that's why at nighttime, the moon gives us a little bit of light, but it's just reflecting it from the sun. Okay, so that's why it gets darker at night. She also tells us about how sunlight makes us warm, okay? So she tells us that sunlight gives us that heat that makes our bodies warm maybe during the day. She also tells us that sunlight helps warm animals. Maybe if they're cold-blooded, it helps warm them, okay? She tells us that sunlight is a lot stronger in the summer. So that season of summer, that's whenever it's its strongest. Okay? Then there's less sunlight in the winter. That's why it's colder in the winter, okay? Because there's not as much sunlight to heat up our bodies, okay? Next, she tells us that plants need sunlight to grow, okay? So that's an important information. So if we don't have sunlight, plants are probably not going to grow as much, okay? And then lastly, she tells us that our bodies need sunlight to make vitamin D. And vitamin D is just that special vitamin that makes our bones strong. So the author does give us a lot of information about sunlight. So it's very important that whenever you're reading books, if you're not sure about maybe what the topic is or maybe what that information is, the author really does put a lot of information, especially in nonfiction books, about the title. So our title was, What Does Sunlight Do? Okay, so our author pretty much explained a lot of information about what it does, and she gave us a bunch of information on what it does for us, not only us, but for plants and for animals. Okay, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope it helps you understand author's purpose better.